Nick Rudder from McKees37.com. In this video, I'm going to compare two cordless battery-powered polishers from RUPES, a well-known Italian tool manufacturer, and Flex, a well-known German tool manufacturer. Now, these two names are very well-known and reputable in the detailing industry, and each brand has its loyal following, that's for sure. RUPES, they've been around for a long time. They're an Italian company. Flex, they're German, and in terms of quality and engineering and design, they're both at the top of the top. Now, these two machines, they both have their pros and cons depending on what's important to you when it comes time to detail your car, whether it's your own personal vehicle or if you're doing this for a living. And with the recent introduction of the all-new 24-volt cordless polishers from Flex, I thought, hey, why not do a video comparing the two side by side, because these tools are absolutely going to be cross-shopped. Now, I'll start with the RUPES. So this is the HLR15, which is also available in the HLR21. And the 15 and the 21, that represents the size of the stroke. That's the orbit of the polisher. And the 15 utilizes a 5-inch backing plate for use with a 6-inch pad, and the 21, a 6-inch plate for use with a 7-inch foam pad or wool or microfiber. RUPES, they manufacture their own line of buffing pads too, and chemicals. Real well-designed, streamlined system. This tool's been out for about a year now. I know it was pre-ordered for quite a while, and the last few months RUPES has been able to keep up with the demand for these tools, and we have them in stock. And I've used it personally. I filmed a video where I did a one-step cleaner wax on a used Infinity. And awesome tool. And with the RUPES, you can buy the bare tool, or you can buy it with the battery and the backing plates, or you can buy it in a complete kit. And Flex, they've been selling their forced rotation XCE cordless polisher for several years. And this year, they just introduced this. It'll be for sale later this month. We are taking pre-orders right now on McKees37.com. This is the 24-volt forced rotation polisher. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to carry the XCE or the Beast moniker, but with these forced rotation tools, that's the nickname that they've earned. So, right off the bat, I know there's going to be some objections, and you guys will be lighting up the comments box because you'll say, well, Nick, you're comparing apples to oranges. This is not really a fair comparison. And if you're wondering why, that's because we have a free spinning machine right here, and then we have a forced rotation machine. Now, they're both dual action random orbital polishers, but they take different approaches. The reason I chose to compare these two instead of choosing the Flex XFE15, the long stroke cordless flex polisher, is because I've been selling Flex for almost 15 years. I've been selling RUPES for over 10 years. And whenever someone calls me or walks in my store or emails me, they always compare the RUPES 15 to the forced rotation Flex. Reason why, I'm not exactly sure. People are really drawn to this forced rotation design of the Flex. So this is based on my experience of people cross-shopping these two polishers. So that's why I'm comparing a free spinning tool to a forced rotation tool. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of which one is going to remove swirl marks faster. That's not the point of this video. This is to give you a 30,000-foot overview, an up-close and personal look, comparing the two side by side, talking about things like the design, the weight, the ergonomics, what it includes, to give you a better idea of which direction you should go when you're shopping. Now, right off the bat, these tools are just, like I said, the build quality is phenomenal. You know, when you buy a RUPES or when you buy a Flex, you're purchasing a tool from an actual tool company. And for me, I'm a car guy. I've wrenched on cars my whole life. I like to fix cars and do my own maintenance, that sort of thing. And you know, I always tend to pony up the extra cash and buy a reputable tool from a real tool company than to buy some type of tool from like a chemical company. Now, there's a lot of chemical companies out there that make their own tool. A lot of them, they're great tools, right? But for me, buying a tool from a tool company makes just as much sense as buying a chemical from a chemical company, right? So for me personally, I like to spend the additional money and get tools from tool companies. So I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit, and we'll start off by comparing these two side by side. So we'll see you in part 2. First and foremost, let's get the obvious out of the way. Here we have a 15mm free spinning dual action polisher, and I'm comparing it to an 8mm gear driven dual action polisher. So the 15 represents the size of the stroke. It's 15mm. Covers a lot of area. That's an advantage. And also with this design, you don't really have to put any pressure down. This machine is incredibly smooth and well balanced. The flex, this particular one, is the forced rotation. It's an 8mm gear driven dual action. And what this means is that there's tension on this backing plate. It's gear driven. This pad is never going to stop rotating. It's going to keep cutting and cutting and cutting. This gives this tool a great advantage on panels that are concave or convex, or they're not flat, or there's a body line. It's always going to spin. With the RUPES, there's not tension on it. So it's what you call a free spinning tool. But the advantage of the RUPES is you cover a larger area, and it's also smoother. Now looking at the body of the tool and comparing them side by side, they're similar designs overall, but they each have their own unique approach on what they feel the best ergonomics would be. The flex is the lighter, the RUPES is the lighter of the two machines. So when you pick them both up, you'll notice right away that there is a weight difference, although it's not tremendous. The flex with the battery installed weighs 6.75 pounds. The battery accounts for 2.10 pounds. The RUPES, however, weighs 5.50 pounds, and the battery accounts for 1.45 of those pounds. So yes, you do notice that this machine is lighter overall, but it's not like this is a brick that's heavy. By all means, this is still a relatively lightweight machine considering how much power you have. Now looking at the head of the tool, the flex is significantly larger. So if you got bigger hands or if you wear gloves, you might like this more. The RUPES, it is on the smaller side. Maybe Italians have small hands and Germans have big hands. I don't really know, but they're both comfortable. They both have a very soft rubber material. The RUPES, you have like a texture here, which is kind of nice, but neither one is going to feel like it's going to be slippery, especially if you have palmy hands like me. The grip is really nice on both tools. One thing I like about the flex is when you look at it from this angle, you have a little ridge here to wrap your fingers around, so that's certainly an advantage in my opinion. But with the RUPES, you have this rubber material that goes all the way down to here, so someone certainly thought of that, so you're not going to chafe your fingers or your skin. And then moving up, the RUPES has a real nice faux carbon fiber look. They both have rubber feet that you can set the machines down in the paint, not that you normally would. And you have the body of the tool right here that's going to house the motor and the internals. The RUPES machines, RUPES is an Italian company, but they do a lot of their assembly in the USA, which is great. They have a tool factory in Colorado, and then a foam pad and wool pad and microfiber pad factory in Texas. So kudos to RUPES for supporting our economy. The flex is built in Germany. I've toured the factory twice. Great people, top-notch quality, very clean and well organized. Moving down, we have the speed dial. With the RUPES, you get a real light click in between speeds. High quality, ergonomics are great, it's right there. With the flex, you get a little more satisfying of a click, and there's intermediate speeds in between. So you have, for example, starting at 1, you have 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, etc. But they both go to 1 to 6. The flex says brushless design here. I'm not sure if the RUPES is. For some reason, I think it might be. If I'm wrong, please feel free to cut me off at the knees in the comments box and tell me I'm a fool. But otherwise, I do think that this is brushless, but I'm not entirely sure. Flex certainly likes to brag about it. And then moving down here, the rubber material continues on. RUPES has their unique texture here. Flex, you have some ribs and some grooves. And you know, I have palmy hands, and this material, I mean, on both tools, it feels the same. The flex is a little bit harder. I don't know if that's going to wear better over time. I'm not sure. When you turn them on the side, different approach to the triggers. They both are a soft trigger. So I can put the speed on 6, for example, on the flex, and just barely touch the trigger and be at a low speed to spread out my compound or my polish. And the RUPES, they were really smart. You actually have to put this in place, the lock, to start the machine so you don't bump it. So yes, they also have a soft start and then full throttle. And both tools, you can lock the dial in place. And the RUPES is pretty nice here. This lights up, looks pretty cool. And then moving down, both tools feature some cooling for the, I don't know if that's for the battery electronics or what that is. Keeps everything nice and cool. And when you look at the profile of the machine, one advantage that the Flex would have, or at least some people would make this argument, is that when you're looking at the two side by side, the battery on the Flex is farther away from the surface than it is on the RUPES. I've seen some comments online where people mention that as they're polishing, they bump that battery into the paint. That has not been an issue for me. Granted, I've only used this for one full detail. I have not used this for any detail yet other than a trunk lid, but I will soon. But this design looks pretty similar to the previous Flex, which I never had an issue with. So when you're using the Flex, you can hold the back of the battery and you still have room for your fingers, and there's plenty of space between your hands and the paint. So for some people that might be a deal breaker. This has not been an issue for me, and I've only seen a few comments online. I don't think it's a real big issue overall. And then looking at the tools on this side, lots of cooling here for the RUPES. There's no doubt they want to get their airflow. You have cooling vents here on both tools. Then the RUPES right here, Flex nothing. RUPES right here, Flex, Flex has one right here, RUPES right here. So I've used this tool in a full vehicle, non-stop, full power. Actually not full power, I was at speed, I think 3, and the machine did not get hot at all. The previous cordless Flex polisher, the heat never bothered me. I don't think it really got warm. And then beyond that, the batteries, the RUPES is very, very tight, which is a good thing. You want that because over time, in and out, in and out, in and out, it's naturally going to loosen up because of friction. But battery is real high quality. The Flex, the battery is also really high quality. There's a noticeable difference in the size, and that's to be expected. The Flex is a 24 volt and the RUPES is an 18 volt. Both machines carry over the same non-slip rubber material onto the battery, which is really nice. I like that because a lot of times you hold the battery when you're using these tools, and they both have some markings. If that's worth anything, you have your typical warning symbols. They're both lithium-ion batteries. This is 24 volt 5 AH. This is 18 volt 5 AH. And in my experience, RUPES is very conservative with the ratings on their batteries in terms of the longevity. I use this for the Infinity production detail. I'll put a link below. And I think that I polished non-stop for 35 minutes and I only used 1 bar. The Flex, I can't comment on. The 18 volt tools, I had no problem either with the battery life, so I know RUPES is conservative. They officially say 40 minutes of continuous runtime at full power. I have not tried that, I cannot confirm it, but I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be accurate. The Flex, I want to say it's about the same, but again, I have not tried this yet to confirm it, but they're a reputable company. I don't see their claims being inaccurate. So both tools have an indicator for the battery life. The RUPES, you get this little button, and it tells you right there, empty to full. And with Flex, you have a big button back here, and it lights up. And this is full right now. When it goes down, when it depletes, you have less bars. So great quality. Now, each tool includes, well, you can buy them separately, just the tool itself, but otherwise, you'll get 2 batteries with each tool. Now, the chargers. I'm going to move these out of the way. And like I did mention, the Flex battery weighs 2.10 pounds, and the RUPES battery is 1.45 pounds. So, difference in the battery weight, not a huge difference though. And then each machine includes a charger. One advantage the RUPES has with their charger is that it it holds 2 batteries. This does not charge both batteries at the same time, but it holds both batteries. So what will happen is, let's say you're done detailing for the day. You put both batteries on, or maybe you've already had one on, it'll charge one, and and then it'll move on to the next one and charge that. So when you come back the next morning or later on that day, maybe after lunch, your batteries are charged. The Flex, you only have one port, so it charges one battery at a time. To me, this is not really a disadvantage. This is a luxury more than anything else. When I've detailed using the previous cordless Flex polishers, I always have one battery charging. So when you get two batteries, you always have one charging. While you're polishing, this battery is going to be charging, or it will charge. This is a fast charger. It's about 30 minutes to bring it all the way up to 100%. I think the RUPES is about the same. If I'm wrong, please feel free to comment below. So in theory, if you're responsible and when your battery on this tool dies, you've already got one, you just swap it out and you always have fresh batteries. Now, understandably, if you're at the end of the day using this tool, you've got a full battery charged here and your other battery is half-life, then yes, you do have to, or if this one's still charging and your battery's half-life, then yes, you do have to come back later on to swap them out, so that could be a minor inconvenience. And both chargers have indicator lights that tell you the status of the charge. One thing I will say, and I applaud RUPES for this, these guys, they don't really let anything get past them, is I'm going to pull the cords just a little bit. You can see the Flex slides. Why is that a big deal? Well, it's really not a big deal, but RUPES took the time to put these little rubber non-slip feet on their charger. And man, I tell you, I like that a lot. These batteries are not cheap, and a new charger is not cheap. So when this is on your workbench or wherever it is, it's going to stay put. I mean, I'm moving this around right now. You can see the table moving with the charger. The Flex, I don't have that. And granted, you could probably put some double-sided tape, whatever, but still, like little things like that make me feel really confident about other areas that this tool might not be overlooking. But maybe Flex will update that. If Chris Metcalf from Flex is watching, Chris, add some rubber feet to this. RUPES, way to go, guys. So one more thing, real quick, backing plates. So we have two different tools here. And like I mentioned, I know some guys are going to be upset that I'm comparing a forced rotation to a free spinning. But again, just to reiterate, this is based on my experience spending 8-9 hours a day for the last 15 years answering phone calls, responding to emails and comments on YouTube about which tool to buy. So the RUPES has the 5-inch plate, real nice thin design. And the Flex, this is the same setup as their previous tool, very thick, very bulky. This feels like it will last forever. The RUPES is 5 inches, designed for 6-inch pads. The Flex, you get 2 backing plates. That's a real big deal right now. Normally to buy a separate backing plate, you're looking at $30 to $40. And pre-installed from the factory, you get the 6-inch plate, which is for 6.5-inch or 7-inch foam pads. And then with 3 Allen key bolts, you can swap it out to a 5-inch, which then you can use the 5.5 or the 6-inch pad. So this is a real big plus. And what's really important to a lot of people, not necessarily me, I've never been a warranty guy, but some people love their warranties. The Flex has a 5-year warranty, and the RUPES, I'll have to correct this video if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a 1-year warranty. I will tell you that warranty does not mean anything to me. To some people, warranty alone is the deciding factor for their purchase. Both tools are extremely high quality. I really don't have many calls on either companies about warranty issues. And in the rare instance when I do, both tools, their reps that I deal with, they're quick to hop on things and replace or fix or whatever it is. So, but Flex has been really aggressive with these new 24 volt with a 5-year warranty. RUPES, I think it's a 1-year warranty. If it's not, I'll correct it in the description below. But again, warranties don't mean anything to me when I buy a TV or I buy a car. And that's the advantage of buying from a tool company. If I were buying some knockoff something, whatever, then yeah, warranty would be more important. But for me, when you buy a quality tool, quality product, it's not a big concern. And last but not least is the price. There is a minor difference in price. I'm not going to say exactly what it is because although we're taking pre-orders for this tool right now, I believe that the price might be more than what it's actually currently listed for. That will be updated. So if you're watching this video and you go on our website and you think, wow, that's a great deal, you should probably buy it because chances are with the way inflation is going, this tool will go up in price. The RUPES, you have various options with how you can configure it. You can buy just the tool with the charger and the batteries, or what most people do is they buy the complete kit. A lot of people love RUPES because they have a full system. You have pads, you have chemicals, and the color of the chemicals matches the color of the pads. So that's really appealing to a lot of people. And then with the Flex, what's also appealing is the fact that you can use whatever system you want, and it works really well. So I think that about covers all the features. If you have any specific questions, feel free to leave it in the comments box. I have a complete video where I showcase this machine, and then I have a shorter one where I showcase this, but I do plan on doing a full review detailing an actual car using this tool. So hang tight for the wrap up. So closing thoughts, you can't go wrong with either tool. They're both great companies. You know, people are going to present their opinions and say, well, I had a bad experience with this company and a great experience with this company, and vice versa. At the end of the day, they're both high quality machines. It really just depends on what your priorities are. So if you have any more questions, please give me a call, send me an email, drop me a note in the comments box. You can buy these machines from McKees37.com. I'd certainly appreciate it. Our YouTube channel is funded by our website. And if you like videos like this, give me a thumbs up, click subscribe, and I will see you at the next video. Take care, and God bless.